Season 5 is bringing quite some amazing updated aspects and new ones to improve the Necromancer further. And yes, we can finally remove curses from our bar again because we get the curse aura. Welcome to another vacation-themed video. First, let's begin with the defensive ones, and that is the aspect of the sly stabs. When you would accumulate 50% of your maximum life lost, you automatically cast an equipped defensive, subterfuge, or macabre skill. Equipped, very important here. And the thing is, this happens every 30 seconds, but it cannot be a mobility skill. So this cannot cast Blood Mist, but what it can cast Bone Prison in case you have it equipped, so random Bone Prison, and with the new boots that can be shooting out these Bone Prison bone splinters. And then there's a Bone Spirit, so it can just randomly throw out another Bone Spirit out of you. And I'm not sure if it then counts as a maximum essence cast because it casts it. And if we're then at 300 essence, it's 300 essence times 4% damage because it's how much essence is used up on cast, but it's probably not going to use your essence, so it will be intriguing to see how much damage actually comes out of that one. Next one is the offensive department. And here we get the aspect of inevitable fate. When an enemy falls below 35% life, becomes injured. While afflicted with any of your damage over time effects, an explosion occurs every 7 seconds, dealing 10,000 damage for each element they're afflicted by. That doesn't seem to be that useful for Necro, considering that we don't afflict many different elements, and it's an explosion every 7 seconds if they have our damage over time effects, and our damage over time effects can't crit, but these explosions will be scaling with crits. So that seems a bit, hello, sir? On the other hand, there's the aspect of creeping death. You deal 20% increased damage over time to enemies for each different crowd controlled effect they have. Stun, slow, chill, freeze, all of these, and another 20% bonus damage. But only damage over time, okay? Unstoppable enemies and staggered bosses take 40% increased damage over time from you instead. Must have for any damage over time build to finally do more multiplicative damage versus bosses easy, and hordes of monsters would just simply take more damage as well. My next one is my favorite, and it was in the game, then get taken out, then get back into the aspect of the Great Feast. Your minions deal 45% increased damage, but each one drains 1 essence from you per second. Okay, that's fine. The actual minion build doesn't really use essence apart from curses, and there will be another way to apply curses in a second. So just your minions dealing another 45% damage. Cool. But if you have no active minions, the damage increase applies to you, so you get another 45% damage, but you lose 7 essence per second. That 7 essence per second is literally just using a boots with plus 8 essence per second and you're done. Or you're just playing the shadow build, which got nerfed. Yes, the blighted aspect got nerfed, but we'll push back on that to get it buffed up a bit again. It's another 45% damage multiplicative just like that, especially for the essenceless builds. It can be quite intriguing. So back to the corpse explosion kind of build for minions is nice, but it can be used in many other builds just if you have enough essence per second to kind of counterweight this essence per second loss, which gets followed up by the imprisoned spirit aspect. We knew about this. When Bone Prison explodes inside a Bone Prison, it triggers another time and it deals 70% of normal damage, which is insane because the Bone Spirit also prioritizes enemies in the Bone Prison. So as soon as you have the prison up, the spirit will always go in there, which is fantastic. Lastly, the Shade Mist, and Shade Mist kicks off insane. Your minions deal 919 shadow damage per second to enemies around them. So if you boost shadow damage, you should be dealing more shadow damage with this. The damage over time lasts for 5 seconds after leaving the aura. That is another 11 minions hovering around the boss, each doing shadow damage over time, right? The question is, does this shadow damage over time, because it says your minions deal shadow damage over time, does this shadow damage over time get scaled with Unyielding Commander with the aspect of the Great Feast where they deal 45% more damage? So if this Shade Mist aspect gets multiplied up by everything we kind of do Shadow Mage style, right? And reanimation for another 40%. That's, yeah, I'm like, you could make a very funny minion build where they just soak dry the enemy by literally standing around him and laughing. To the resource aspect, and that is my favorite one, aspect of the Dark Dance. Every 5 seconds, your next core skill costs life instead of primary resource, and will only occur if you have at least 60% of your maximum life. Cool. Skills that consume life deal 80x increased damage. That would mean that every 5 seconds you would do an 80x increased damage super hit. And if you would find a way to, well, have your skills use life even more often, that would be even better. The life loss itself is absolutely mandatory and non-existent. And I mean, like, just a super empowered hit every 5 seconds. This could be fantastic for Bone Spirit build too. Even though we got to figure out if then the life counts as essence spend for the bonus damage or how that would be calculated for the bonus damage. To the utility aspects, and we're talking about Cursed Aura. You automatically curse enemies around you with Decrepified Iron Maiden. Thank you. And yes, you actually curse them with both automatically. So it's not, you don't have to have it in your bar anymore. You automatically curse enemies around you with Decrepified Iron Maiden. Curses inflicted this way spread to surrounding targets every 0.3 seconds and last 4 seconds outside of the aura. What? We can finally remove this from our bar again. Yes, Iron Maiden gone, and also Decrepify from your bar, one more skill available, and this is a freaking utility aspect that can go on your boots. Dunzo. Sticker Thought aspect. Then the Sticker Thought aspect. Gain 5,000 thorns while channeling for 3 seconds afterwards. I'm not a fan of thorns build, so I don't see this being any good in any use for Necro. Then the Wild Bolt aspect. Every 3.5 seconds or 2 seconds, distant enemies are pulled in and take 10% increased damage. This is not needed as the Necro because you can easily pull things together, but for other classes, I mean, for my Barbarian, just being able to every 2 seconds pull everyone together, it's kind of cute. For the Druid, it's kind of cute. I mean, just simply being able to pull everyone for free together on your boots and then get 10% multiplicative damage. Yeah, cool. To the mobility, that was the aspect of the Creeping Mist, which is shit. Gain 20% evade cooldown reduction, so your evade cooldown is better, but you can now evade during Blood Mist, okay. And entering or exiting Blood Mist resets your evade cooldown. This is the only way how Necro is finally fast, somewhat. So you activate Blood Mist, dash, 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 and you get out of Blood Mist, you get your evade cooldowns back, and dash, dash, dash again. But I would essentially need to use an aspect to get a basic movement speed ability, where swords have teleport, barbs have leap, charge, whatsoever, and so on, and I would have to waste an aspect for that to even remotely get something good that's otherwise not considered a movement ability. At least it's there. Then the aspect of the Unholy Tether to make your golem be unstoppable, unhindered. He can move through everything with bonus movement speed, which is kind of useless because the dude leaps now, so why would I care? And then the Reaper aspect, where Sever is now a dash forward to attack instead. It becomes a mobility skill and has a 7-second cooldown. Yeah, even... No. Sever in its current state is a sad affair. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Which one are you going to play? I mean, the Cursed Aura aspect is currently the best one out there. Every single build being able to just put Decrepify out, and you get free Iron Maiden as well. You could play another skill. That's not always useful. Not every build needs another skill, but just being able to factor something bonus in. Might it be just a Corpse Explosion again to every now and then trigger the offhand effect of the Flesh Eater node? For example, my Bloodlands build. It could just play a Corpse Explosion to every now and then get the 9% bonus damage from the Fuel by Death, which I'm currently not playing because I'm not consuming any corpses. But with this, as I'm actually making some corpses, especially in a boss fight, every now and then just triggering one Corpse Explosion every 6 seconds for a 9% damage boost, that's simple. And I only have to like have my Decrepify be autocast, so I don't really have to care about Decrepify ever again. Cool, that seems useful. I mean, you could even put a random blight into almost every build and just get the 20% bonus damage every 6 seconds. Done, right? You and your minions deal 20% increased damage to enemies with a blight. So if I'm fighting a boss, I just spam the Bloodlands, throw a blight in between, my curse gets auto-applied, and I get 20% X damage. Done. And worst case scenario, the bonus curse Iron Maiden you're getting, well, it does do damage, but not only that, it could give you some essence, which isn't really needed, but there's a heal 7% of your max life while an enemy dies afflicted with Iron Maiden. You're blasting through the pit, you're blasting through the infernal hordes, and you're continuously getting bonus heals on top, or you would be dealing even more damage, where I do actually prefer the bonus heal on top. So we get the automatic curse aura with the bonus damage anyways, and then bonus heal plus some essence that we don't need, but it's better than it seems on first sight that Iron Maiden is on top of that. Oh, if you now want to see that Bloodlands build, by the way, and how it absolutely obliterates everything and how it's made, and it's even better this season because things get buffed, enjoy, and thank you for watching.